Today we're going to be changing the sway bar bushings on a 2010 Chevy Cobalt. First thing you want to do is remove both wheels. These are 19 millimeter for the cap. And 19 for the lug nuts. The bolts that are holding the caps down are right behind the steering arms or the steering gear. So you can see the head right there, it's a 15 millimeter. On the passenger side, I can get in there with a deep well socket and a 1/2-inch drive ratchet. Fits in between the engine block. So remove that one. That's about how much tension is on the sway bar. That's holding that bolt up out of the hole. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the sway bar from the links on the strut here. 17 millimeter. Just so we can keep the tension off of that sway bar as I take the next one loose, and we got to get those bolts back into the frame. So with the nut off, you can pop that link out to both sides. That allows the sway bar to relax, and you'll be able to put the new bolts in, or not the new bolts, the bolts back in after the new bushings are underneath the cap. So now we're on the driver's side, and we're going to take this other 15 millimeter bolt out. Using the same deep well socket, 15 with a 1/2-inch drive ratchet. Not quite as much room on this side, but you still can get in here and break it loose. And you can probably back this one out by hand. Pull those bolts out, then you can remove that cap. Oh, it's kind of stuck. I'm gonna have to pry it up. Gonna need both hands to separate it there. My light's about to fall off too. That's what the cap looks like. So the back side doesn't have a bolt. It goes down into the frame, and the front side bolts down. But getting it up and out and then off of the rubber bushing, a little bit of a challenge. And then you'll have to find the split, which I think is on the back side of this bushing, because I don't see it on the front. And then peel that off of the sway bar. So I'm just using a radiator hose tool to kind of get inside the bushing, pry it up away from the sway bar, and then pull it towards the outside. That's how I was able to maneuver it out of there. As you can see, that bushing is not in very good shape as compared to the new one. Getting a lot of noise out of this one. So the split in the bushing is facing the rear. You just put it right into position here. You might have to lift up a little bit on the sway bar, but then you push it over the bar and get it seated kind of in its correct position. Then when we go to the other side and do the same thing before we put the brackets back on. Over here it was easier to get the bracket off. Let's see if we can peel that bushing off without the radiator hose tool. And it's pretty stiff. Piece of cake, just push that off. Alright, so put that bracket back over the top here. You're going to have to position the sway bar a little bit so that you can get the backside shoved down into the slot on the frame. Right there. And then you can push the sway bar up and back and try to get that bushing into the cap. And then it'll kind of rotate the bushing around the sway bar as you push this cap down. After you get the bushings on and the brackets tightened down, then you can go ahead and reinstall your sway bar links, which on the second one, you might have to put a jack underneath the control arm to move the strut high enough to reach it. And even right now, it's kind of at a little bit of an angle, you can see downward. So I'm gonna put a pry bar right here and right here, and push up on it so that we can get a straight shot before I throw an impact on there and tighten it down. Got the pry bar underneath the frame, or underneath the control arm on top of the sway bar there. You can watch that bolt as I pull on it. It straightens out. So you hold down on this, get a straight shot, and tighten your nut down. With your link tightened up, then you can put your wheel back on, and that's the end of the job. If you like today's video, please subscribe to the channel.